I'm Jill and welcome back to Handmade. Valentine's Day, love it or hate it? Honestly, I am not a very big fan, but I'm always up for anything with decorations and a theme. Recently I was Christmas shopping at one of my favorite stores and I saw this adorable red, white, and green Christmas wreath, but it also came with a really hefty price tag. Today, I'm gonna try to recreate that wreath using colors that fit my Valentine's decor and for a lot less money. Let's get started. So the first thing we're gonna do is bring in our wreath forms. I have a 12-inch and an 8-inch. I wanted to combine these two so that I have a very little hole left in the circle and it makes it really big and fluffy. I think that'll make it a lot more impactful. So we are gonna attach these two wreath forms together using zip ties. Now, important, don't tighten them all the way down until we have all of them on, because see how it's kind of like pulling to that side? We want to make sure that it's evenly spaced throughout. So we'll go around and tighten them all once we have all of our zip ties on. For now, I'm just going to put them on and then we can go back and tighten them. I think I have enough on now. So I'm going to start tightening them down as tight as I can. But remember, see, now it pulled to this side. So now I want to go to the opposite side. I'm going to pull this one as tight as I can to pull it back that way some. See, now we have a much bigger wreath form to work with. We're gonna go ahead and trim all of our tails off. I'm gonna bring in my yarn. This is just a big, thick, fluffy polyester yarn. This is almost a 1/2 inch wide. I wanted it to be really big, really fluffy, so it really stands out on the wreath and it kind of holds its shape itself. You don't want a limp, flimsy yarn that's not really gonna stand up. For my wreath, that worked out perfectly. I used almost exactly a whole skein of yarn. I think I had maybe 5 or 6 pieces left over, but it worked great. It was not expensive to begin with. I got it at half off, so really this is an inexpensive craft. All you're gonna do is take your strip of yarn, fold it in half, and you're going to tuck the ends under your outer ring, pulling it through so that it ties on. See, now it's tied on, it's not going anywhere. This is very easy, but it does take some time. So this was a great activity. I sat on the couch, I binge watched one of my favorite shows that I've been trying to get caught up on, and it was a perfect cozy night activity. So we have our outer ring done, but I want to add a little bit of color for some interest. So I'm just going to add ribbon. You can use any kind of ribbon that you want. I was going to go with pink and red for traditional Valentine's colors, but then I found this beautiful frayed edge velvet ribbon. When I found the velvet ribbon, I thought it would be perfect. I thought it would make the wreath look really upscale, like my inspiration piece, and the interest just that the two colors add, I think looks really nice. Now I also have this other yarn, so I'm gonna tie on a few pieces every here and there. Again, just to add a different texture. We've got this nice fluffy, almost like blanket yarn. We've got the frayed edge velvet, and now we've got these pieces of just kind of a soft, small little fluffy yarn. I'm just gonna add these pieces on every so often. I'm not counting spaces or anything. I want it to look a little organic and just not super placed, but I'm gonna put these on the exact same way that I put on these yarns. It doesn't have to be perfect. Again, the length doesn't matter. We can trim it if we want. It looks neat, just a little bit shorter, but then you have that pretty frayed edge. Our whole outer edge is done, and now it's ready to go to the next ring, but this is super important. It's too tight to go on this very next ring, so we're gonna skip a row. So we did the outer edge, we're gonna skip this ring. Now we're gonna do the exact same thing we did there on this ring. It's a little more difficult because of the other yarn, but it's the same process. Really easy, but it does take some time, so it's a great project to do. Watching a movie, listening to a podcast or audiobook. Okay, you can see I just tied one on right where this zip tie is. That is no big deal. I'm gonna push them together, completely covers it, and you will never know that they're there. So our second ring is done, exactly like our first ring. Now, we're gonna do the exact same thing we did, adding our ribbon and our other yarn. 2 layers done, and I wanna start the third ring to show you again what I mean. We are gonna skip this ring, tie it on this ring. See, we have a space in here to work with. Okay, so I'm ready to start my inner rings, and I was debating what to do. So again, we're gonna skip this one, and I'm gonna tie on this one. But then that leaves me with the outer ring. So I'm gonna tie them on both rings. This ring and this ring. But in order to have room to work, I'm gonna do it this one, this one, this one, this one. You'll see once I get started what I mean. I can move over just a little bit and tuck my tails. And then look, I have this whole center to be able to work to pull it out. I'm gonna pull it through, again, just like the others. And I'm gonna slide it to underneath my other one. So then I have this nice finished looking knot on my inner edge. And I'm not gonna put any of my ribbon on this bottom ring. I want it to just look like a nice finished even edge all around there with just the knots that the yarn creates. And really, I want this bottom ring to be as tight as possible. I'm a little more concerned with it than I have been on the other levels, because the other levels, the yarn really covers it up. But this, I don't want any of that metal wreath form to show. So I'm gonna try to make it as tight as possible, really pushing that yarn together on this bottom layer. Everybody's tied on, the wreath form is covered. My very last step, all I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna trim some of these pieces. It's gonna be a little messy, but so that they're all pretty even. I'm just gonna work my way around the outside. The last thing I'm gonna do is trim this inner circle. I'm gonna trim these guys a little bit shorter because they tend to kind of fall forward a little bit. And that's it. I'm happy with it. So now I'm gonna go find a perfect spot to hang it. Valentine's Day is all about love, and the only thing I'm loving this year is my wreath. I'm kidding, kind of, but seriously, I am thrilled with how it turned out. It was way more affordable than my inspiration piece. I love the muted pink and red colors, and it was the perfect cozy couch winter night project. Let me know in the comments below how you plan to spend your Valentines, and if you loved this project, don't forget to give us a like and subscribe. Thanks y'all, I love you, happy Valentine's Day.